What if I told you that the estate plan sitting in your file cabinet right now, the one you spent thousands of dollars creating, may be quietly falling apart? Not because you did anything wrong, but because it's something most people never think about, and that's inflation. Hi, I'm Chuck Roulette. I'm an estate and elder law planning attorney with nearly 30 years of experience. And today I'm going to show you 9 ways inflation may be secretly destroying your estate plan and what you can do about it. Now, before we begin, if you haven't already, make sure you click the like and subscribe button so you'll be notified when I post new videos like this one. And make sure to share it with anyone that may find the information helpful. If you have a question, post it in the comments and I may answer it in an upcoming video. And if you stay until the end, I'll share some resources where you can discover more. So here's the thing most people don't realize. Your estate plan was built for a specific economic reality, and that's the one that existed when you created it. Now, maybe that was 5 years ago, maybe 10, maybe even 20 years ago. But the world has changed. Home values have doubled or tripled. Nursing home costs have skyrocketed. The money you thought would be enough, well, it might not be anymore. And here's what really concerns me. I see families every single week who thought they had solid plans, only to discover that inflation has created gaps they never saw coming. So let me share a quick story that illustrates what I mean. So I met with Margaret a couple of years ago. Her husband had passed away and she was reviewing the planning that they had in place. They'd created their plan back in 2008. They'd worked with a really good attorney and they'd done everything correct. But when we looked at the documents, we found some issues. For example, her husband's plan left $50,000 to each of their 3 grandchildren for college. Well, in 2008, that seemed generous. It could cover most of a 4-year degree at a state school. But by 2023, well, that $50,000 barely covered 2 years of college. College costs had nearly doubled. Now, Margaret looked at me and said, well, this isn't what we meant at all. We wanted to give them a real head start. So unfortunately, Margaret's story isn't unique. So let me walk you through 9 specific ways inflation might be undermining your plan right now. So the first one is that fixed dollar bequests lose their punch. So for example, if your will says I leave $25,000 to my favorite charity, well, that donation has lost about 48% of its purchasing power over the last 15 years. Your generosity got cut nearly in half, not because you changed your mind, but because the dollars changed their value. 2, life insurance now often falls short. I worked with a family recently where the husband had a $500,000 life insurance policy from the year 2000. When he passed away last year, his wife discovered it wasn't nearly enough. The mortgage payoff cost more than expected. College for their daughter had skyrocketed, and daily living expenses had climbed year after year. What seemed like a generous safety net barely covered their needs. Third, provisions for children may become inadequate. So, for example, if your plan provides, say, $2,000 per month for a child's care, check when you wrote that, because $2,000 in 2015 bought a lot more than $2,000 today. Housing, food, healthcare, childcare, it's all substantially higher now. 4, trust distributions don't stretch as far. So many trusts say things like $50,000 at age 25 for a first home down payment. But in today's market, especially in Minnesota and Florida, $50,000 isn't enough for even a modest starter home in many areas. 5, estate settlement costs often exceed expectations. I recently saw a family whose father's 2012 estate plan allocated $15,000 for final expenses and administration. Well, the costs in 2024, over $35,000. That shortfall created stress and conflict at an already difficult time. 6, gifting limits and powers of attorney become obsolete. Many powers of attorney include outdated gifting limits, like $15,000 per person annually. But the federal gift tax exclusion has increased to $19,000 in 2025. Your document might actually prevent your agent from doing the tax-efficient planning you'd want. 7, your estate may now be taxable. Now, here's a big one, especially for my Minnesota clients. The federal estate tax exemption has increased to nearly $14 million per person and adjusts each year for inflation. But Minnesota's exemption? Well, it's been stuck at $3 million since 2020 and does not adjust for inflation. I had clients whose estate was safely below the estate tax threshold when they did their planning 10 years ago. But by 2025, their home value had increased. Their investments had grown, and suddenly they were at $3.8 million. They now faced a potential state estate tax bill of $80,000 or more, a tax that didn't even exist when they did their original plan. And this happens in other states too. And even if you don't live there, if you own property in these states, you could have exposure. Now, number 8, long-term care costs often outpace your planning. Now, this is the one that devastates families. I had clients who bought long-term care insurance in 2005. Their policy provided $150 per day, and nursing homes then cost about $180 per day. They figured they could cover the difference. But by 2025, when they needed care, the daily rate had climbed to $350 a day. Their insurance covered less than half, and their savings were draining away quickly. Now, today in Florida, the average nursing home costs over $120,000 per year. In Minnesota, it's over $130,000 annually. If your planning is based on costs from 5 or 10 years ago, you're potentially in for a shock. Number 9, Medicaid planning strategies become outdated. If your plan includes strategies to qualify for Medicaid assistance with long-term care, those strategies may be based on outdated rules and thresholds. What worked in 2018 may not work in 2025. Now, I know this might feel overwhelming, but here's the good news. Once you know there's a problem, the solution is straightforward. A comprehensive review of your estate plan can identify these gaps and update your documents to reflect today's reality and prepare for tomorrow's challenges. Now, the key is not waiting until it's too late. So here's what I recommend you do next. First, if you'd like to schedule a consultation to review your own planning or to create a new plan, visit us at roulettelaw.com. We have offices in both Minnesota and Florida, and we'd be happy to help you protect what matters most to you. Second, if you want to discover more, join us for my upcoming exclusive masterclass. I'll reveal how to avoid probate, save on taxes, protect the money you leave for your kids in the event they get divorced, and much more. And you can click the link in the description below to sign up. Third, if you're specifically concerned about long-term care costs wiping out your home and life savings, I've created a comprehensive guide called Save Our Home, How to Protect Your Home and Life Savings from Long-Term Care and Nursing Home Costs. You can download it for free by clicking the link in the description below. Remember, you put time, thought, and money into creating your estate plan. Don't let inflation silently dismantle what you've built. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in an upcoming video or the masterclass. Be well.